I stepped through the front door, dragging my suitcase behind me. The familiar smell of home hit me immediately. Margaret's cooking, the faint scent of lavender from her candles, and something sweet from Clara's baking. "I'm home," I called out, hoping my voice sounded lighter than I felt. "Ethan." Finally. Mom came running, arms wide. "You've been gone forever." "I've missed you, Mom." I hugged her tightly. Dad's deep laugh echoed from the living room. "Traveling the world again, son?" "Trying to," I said, setting my suitcase down. "But I'm glad to be back. Really glad." "Clara's setting the table," Mom said, leading me into the kitchen. I froze for a second, watching her move gracefully, arranging plates and silverware. Her hair fell in perfect waves around her shoulders. But there was something in her eyes, sharp, fleeting, that made me swallow hard. "Hey," I said gently. "Everything okay?" She turned, smiling, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Of course. Just making sure everything's perfect for dinner." "Perfect," I echoed, though a flicker of unease crept in. Logan came strolling in, hands in his pockets, wearing that infuriating grin. "Look who's back. Did you bring souvenirs for your favorite little brother?" I chuckled, shaking my head. "You're my only little brother, Logan. Don't let that get to your head." He winked. "Good to see you, Ethan. Feels like ages." Mom clapped her hands. "Dinner's almost ready. Come sit, everyone." We gathered around the table, laughter spilling over chatter. Dad poured wine, Mom served salad, and I tried to relax, soaking it all in. "So, Clara," I said, leaning slightly forward, "what's new? How's work?" "Oh, you know," she replied, a forced ease in her tone. "Busy. Same old." Logan snorted. "Same old for her, maybe. I just got a promotion at the firm. Thought I'd rub it in." I raised an eyebrow. "A promotion, huh? Well done, Logan." "Thanks, big bro. Maybe you'll finally stop bossing everyone around when I'm in charge someday." I laughed, but my mind couldn't shake that glance Clara had shot him earlier. Something flickered between them, brief, almost invisible, but enough for me to notice. I told myself I was tired, that my mind was reading too much into nothing. "Pass the bread, please," I said, trying to steer the conversation back to normal. Clara handed it over, brushing my hand briefly. The touch should have been comforting, but instead it sparked a strange, cold feeling in my chest. "Dinner smells amazing," I said, taking a bite. "Mom, you outdid yourself." "You always say that," she laughed, brushing flour off her hands. "But thank you, Ethan." Dad leaned back, swirling his glass. "So, how was the trip? Any stories to embarrass yourself with?" "Oh, plenty," I replied, forcing a grin. "Let's see. I almost got lost in Venice because I trusted the wrong taxi driver." Logan snickered. "Sounds like something I'd do." "You think you're funny," I said, raising an eyebrow. "I'll get you back for that later." The room hummed with casual chatter, but I felt a tightening in my chest. Clara's smile didn't reach her eyes, and Logan kept glancing at her with an intensity that felt wrong. "You guys okay?" I asked casually, trying to sound normal. Mom frowned slightly. "Why? What do you mean?" "Nothing," I said quickly, waving a hand. "Just, sometimes things feel a little off after I've been gone." Clara's laugh was too light, almost rehearsed. "Ethan, you worry too much." I forced a smile, but a shadow of doubt lingered. "So, any big plans for the weekend?" Dad asked, looking around. "I was thinking we could all go to the lake," I said. "It's been ages since we went together." Logan's grin widened. "Sure, why not? As long as Ethan doesn't try to teach me how to swim like last time." I chuckled. "Hey, you barely floated." Clara laughed softly, but for a second, I caught her exchanging a brief glance with Logan again. My stomach twisted. I blinked, tried to convince myself I imagined it. The conversation shifted to lighter topics, but my mind refused to let go. Every laugh, every glance, every little gesture seemed to carry hidden meaning now. I wanted to ask Clara directly what was going on, but I hesitated. I didn't want to ruin what should have been a happy homecoming. After dinner, we lingered around the table, talking about old memories. "Remember that time you got stuck in the treehouse, Logan?" I said, smiling at him. "You didn't help," he shot back. "I tried. You just didn't listen." Clara smiled at our banter, but her eyes flickered again toward Logan. My heart thudded. Something was definitely wrong. I excused myself, stepping into the hall. "I need a moment," I muttered. The cool air hit my face as I tried to steady my racing thoughts. The warmth of family dinner had melted into tension I couldn't ignore. Leaning against the wall, I whispered to myself, "What the hell is going on?" I went back inside, forcing a laugh, trying to ignore the gnawing sense that this perfect evening was only an illusion. But deep down I knew I wasn't just tired. Something darker was lurking beneath the smiles. And I wasn't ready for it. The rest of the night passed in half-smiles, polite conversation, and forced jokes. I watched, listened, waited for the signs to clarify themselves. I didn't sleep well. Every glance, every laugh replayed in my mind. That night, I realized the perfect family dinner might be hiding something I was unprepared to see. The table was alive with chatter and clinking glasses. I tried to focus on my plate, on the stories I had brought back from my trip, but my eyes kept drifting toward Clara. "Ethan, you won't believe what happened in Paris," I said, leaning forward. I was walking down Rue Saint-Honoré, and this guy, he tried to sell me a fake watch. Logan snorted. "You? Getting scammed? That's a first." "Hey," I said, laughing. I knew something was off. I almost fell for it, though. Clara smiled, but then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it quickly, her smile fading. "Excuse me a second," she said, stepping into the hallway. I frowned but didn't say anything. She stayed longer than usual, and when she came back, her voice was a little too light. "Sorry about that. Nothing important." Logan gave me a sidelong glance. "Something weird going on?" I shook my head. "No, just Clara got a text. Probably work stuff." He raised an eyebrow. "Sure. Work stuff, right?" I laughed nervously. "Yeah, work stuff." The conversation turned to our childhood memories. Dad laughed, recalling my terrible attempt at learning the guitar. Mom teased Logan about his first crush. I smiled, trying to ignore the gnawing feeling in my chest. Logan kept fidgeting with his fork, avoiding my gaze. "You know," he said casually, "I've been thinking about taking that promotion even sooner. Boss seems impressed." "That's great," I said, but something about the way he said it felt off. He avoided looking at me, shifting in his seat like he was hiding something. Clara suddenly leaned over. "Pass the bread, please." Her hand brushed mine briefly, and I noticed her fingers trembling. "Sure," I said, giving her a small smile. Mom's voice interrupted. "So, Ethan, tell us more about your meeting in London. Did you get the deal?" "Yes," I said. "Finally." Took longer than I expected, but worth it. Everyone was cooperative, surprisingly friendly. Clara nodded, but her eyes flicked toward Logan again. My stomach tightened. I swallowed and tried to focus on Dad, who was telling a story about a fishing trip he took with his old friends. I heard whispers, soft, almost inaudible. I turned slightly, and for a split second, saw Logan leaning toward Clara. Their heads were close, their conversation quiet enough to sound innocent, but my gut screamed otherwise. I forced a smile. "What are you two whispering about?" Clara jerked back, a little too fast. "Nothing. Just remembering old times." Logan grinned, but his eyes didn't meet mine. "Yeah, just old memories." I felt a pit in my stomach. I tried to shake it, laughing at one of Dad's jokes, but the unease clung to me. Every laugh, every glance seemed loaded. When Clara handed me my salad, she accidentally dropped a napkin. It unfolded, revealing a folded note addressed to Logan. My heart stopped. I didn't want to look, but I saw words that made my blood run cold. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Don't let Ethan notice." I pretended not to notice, my hands trembling slightly as I took my fork. "Clara, everything okay?" I asked softly. She blinked, smiling. "Yes. Just distracted, I guess." I nodded, forcing a laugh. "You distracted me too, apparently." Logan's fork clinked against his plate, and I noticed his jaw tighten. "Distracted? About what?" I shrugged lightly. "Nothing. Just this dinner. It's supposed to be fun, right?" He laughed, but it sounded hollow. "Yeah, fun." I tried to enjoy the rest of dinner, but every move they made, every glance they exchanged, pulled at the threads of doubt in my mind. Clara laughed at a joke I barely understood, but her eyes didn't meet mine. Logan leaned back in his chair, pretending to relax, but his hands fidgeted constantly. Dad leaned in. "So, Ethan, any plans to stay longer this time?" I hesitated. "For now, yes. But I might have to head back in a few days." Mom frowned slightly. "A few days? You just got back." I know, I said, smiling. But I felt a hollow twist in my chest. I wanted to stay forever, to soak in this warmth, but everything felt fragile now. After dinner, everyone moved to the living room. Clara picked up the remote, flipping channels casually. I sat on the couch, my hands clasped together, trying to steady my thoughts. Logan sat opposite me, scrolling on his phone. Every small movement seemed suspicious. "Want some coffee?" Mom asked. "Sure," I said. As she walked to the kitchen, I noticed Clara and Logan exchanging another quick glance. Too many glances, too many secrets. Clara came back with mugs. "Here," she said, placing one in front of me. Her hand brushed mine again. My pulse spiked, a mix of confusion and betrayal twisting inside me. "Thanks," I murmured, staring at her. She smiled faintly. "You're welcome." I wanted to confront her, to demand the truth, but I didn't. Not yet. Not in front of everyone. Instead, I sipped my coffee quietly, watching the two of them, trying to catch any further slip-ups. Later, I excused myself. "I need some air," I said, stepping out onto the porch. The cool night hit my face, but it didn't calm me. Every detail from dinner replayed, the whispers, the glances, the note. I pressed my palms to my face. What the hell is happening? I whispered to the empty night. I stayed there for a long time, listening to the faint sounds of the house, the distant hum of cars. Sleep didn't come. My mind raced, imagining possibilities I didn't want to believe. That warm, happy family dinner had turned into a minefield. I knew deep down that nothing would ever feel the same again. Clara and Logan had hidden something from me. The question was what? Morning came with sunlight I didn't want to see. I sat at the kitchen table, my hands wrapped around a mug of coffee, staring at the steam rising in front of me. Clara walked in, humming softly, but there was a tension in her step I couldn't ignore. "Morning," she said, trying for cheerfulness. "Sleep well." I set my mug down and looked at her directly. "Clara, we need to talk." Her smile faltered, and her eyes widened just a fraction. "About what?" I leaned forward, keeping my voice calm but firm. "About this." I pushed the napkin across the table, unfolded to show the note. Her face went pale. I can explain," she said quickly, reaching for it, but I pulled it back. "Don't touch it," I said, my voice low. "I saw it. I know what it says. Care to tell me why?" Clara bit her lip, glancing at the floor. "Ethan, it's not what you think." "Not what I think." I laughed bitterly. "Clara, it says, 'Can't wait to see you tonight. Don't let Ethan notice.' What exactly do you call that if not betrayal?" Her eyes darted to the door. I made a mistake. It was a stupid message. It didn't mean anything." "Didn't mean anything?" I echoed, feeling my chest tighten. "You sent it to Logan. My brother. My own brother." Clara's voice trembled. "Ethan, I didn't mean for you to see it." Stop," I shouted, the sound startling both of us. "Don't start making excuses. Tell me the truth now." Logan appeared in the doorway, pretending to stretch. "What's going on?" I turned to him, my eyes burning. "You tell me. How deep does this go, Logan?" He swallowed, avoiding my gaze. It's nothing, Ethan. Seriously. Don't make a big deal out of it." "Nothing," I repeated, feeling my stomach twist. "You've been lying, sneaking, whispering behind my back, and that's nothing." Clara stepped closer, her voice soft. "Ethan, please, you're misunderstanding. It's not what it seems." It seems exactly what it is, Clara." I snapped. "And you, Logan. I trusted you both." Logan flinched. "Look, Ethan, we didn't mean." "Stop talking," I said sharply. "I don't want to hear more lies." Clara's shoulders slumped. I didn't know how to tell you. I thought you'd understand." "Understand?" I said, laughing dryly. "Understand that the person I loved, the person I trusted with everything, betrayed me with my own brother?" Logan's eyes finally met mine, and I saw it. Fear, guilt, panic. "Ethan, I swear I didn't." "You didn't what?" I demanded. "Hurt me? Humiliate me? Destroy the life I thought we had? That's exactly what you did." Clara's eyes filled with tears. "Please just let me explain." "Explain?" I shook my head. "There's nothing left to explain. Everything is clear." I grabbed my coat from the hook by the door. "I need air. I need to think." "Ethan," Clara started, but I didn't hear her. I walked outside, the cool morning air biting my face. My chest felt tight, my mind spinning. Every memory of Clara and Logan together, the laughter, the small touches, the smiles, flashed in my mind, poisoned now by doubt and betrayal. I kept walking, letting the streets swallow me. Cars passed by, people went about their day, oblivious to the storm inside me. I replayed every interaction, every glance, every whispered conversation from yesterday. Each one cut deeper than the last. I muttered to myself, how could they betray me like this? I stopped at a corner, breathing heavily. The anger mixed with heartbreak, twisting inside me. Clara. Logan, you think you've won? You think I won't fight back? A voice from behind startled me. Ethan. I turned. It was Marcus, my best friend. I needed some space, I said, shaking my head. I can't deal with anyone right now. He stepped closer. I get it, but hiding won't help. You have to face this. You can't let them ruin you. I trusted them, I said, voice breaking. My fiancé. My brother. Everything I believed in gone. Marcus placed a hand on my shoulder. I know, man, but you're stronger than you think. You'll figure out your next move. I nodded, but the ache in my chest didn't ease. I have to. I can't just let this go. We walked together for a while, silence stretching between us. My mind was a whirlwind of anger, grief, and disbelief. How long had this been going on? How many smiles had been lies? I need to see them, I said finally, clenching my fists. I need to hear it from them straight. Marcus shook his head. Careful, Ethan. Don't let your emotions take control. You need a plan, not a confrontation that destroys you too. I nodded again, swallowing the lump in my throat. Plan ya. I'll figure it out. But I won't forget. I won't forgive, not yet. We walked back to the house, and I felt every step like a countdown. Every laugh, every word from yesterday replayed in my head. The betrayal wasn't just a moment. It was a wound that would take time to heal. Inside, the house was quiet. Clara and Logan were nowhere in sight, but I could feel their presence, the weight of their deception pressing down on me. I leaned against the wall, closed my eyes, and whispered, "Justice will come. I'll reclaim what's mine." The morning sunlight streamed through the windows, bright and unforgiving, just like the truth I had uncovered. And in that moment, I made a silent vow. I would not let them break me. Not Clara. Not Logan. Not anyone. I turned toward the door, ready to step into the world with a mind sharp and heart guarded. Knowing this was only the beginning of a battle, I had no choice but to win. I met Marcus at our usual cafe, the one tucked into the corner of Maple Street. The aroma of coffee usually calmed me, but today it barely registered. My mind was spinning with images of Clara and Logan, their smiles, their whispers. "You look like hell," Marcus said, sliding into the seat across from me. "I feel worse," I admitted, rubbing my temples. "I can't stop replaying everything. Last night, everything." He leaned back. "Let me guess, Clara, Logan, betrayal, heartbreak, rinse and repeat." I let out a humorless laugh. "Exactly. And I don't know what to do. I'm angry, Marcus. Furious. But I can't just explode at them. I need a plan." Marcus's eyes narrowed. "Good. Because if you act on emotion, you'll lose, not them." "I know," I said. "But every time I see Clara, I want to. I don't know, scream, confront her, make her feel what I feel." Marcus shook his head. "Don't. That's why you called me. You need strategy, not destruction that pulls you down too." I nodded, leaning forward. "So, what do we do first?" "Information," he said. "We gather proof. Everything. Messages, emails, notes, recordings. Anything that shows the truth. Then we plan the exposure." I exhaled sharply. I've already got a head start. That napkin yesterday, and I've been watching their patterns. Clara leaves her phone unattended sometimes. Logan checks his in corners. I can record them, capture conversations, everything. Piece it together. Marcus smiled faintly. "See, you're already thinking like a chess player." "I hate this," I muttered. "I hate being the person who plans revenge, but I can't just let them. They can't get away with it." "You won't," Marcus said firmly. "Not if you stick to the plan. And you'll feel better controlling it rather than letting anger control you." I sipped my coffee, trying to steady my trembling hands. I'm pretending to forgive Clara, though. I can't show her I know everything yet. If I do, she'll retreat, hide, destroy evidence. I have to keep her thinking I'm blind, that she still has me. "That's smart," Marcus said. "Appear weak while you set the trap. Classic. Keep them comfortable until the right moment." I nodded, my jaw tight. But I'm torn. Should I let karma handle them quietly, or should I expose everything publicly? Part of me wants them humiliated, but I don't want to stoop too low. Marcus leaned in. "Ethan, karma will do its job, but sometimes people need to see consequences. You have to decide what feels right, and what will bring closure without destroying you in the process." I leaned back, staring out the cafe window. Closure. That's what I need. I need to reclaim my life, my dignity. And I'll do it carefully. Coldly. "Good," Marcus said. Now, step 1, observe. Take notes, record what you see, but don't confront yet. You need patience. I gritted my teeth. Patience is the hardest part. Every time I see Clara laughing, smiling, I want to rip it away. Marcus chuckled softly. That's emotion. You'll use it, but not let it control you. That's the difference between revenge and disaster. I nodded, feeling a cold focus settle over me. I'll watch tonight. Gather what I can. Clara tends to check her messages around dinner. Logan always slips off somewhere private. I can follow them without them noticing. Marcus frowned. Careful, Ethan. You can't be reckless. Not one slip. I know, I said, feeling the weight of it. I've already thought of contingencies. If they suspect me, I'll play it off, act normal. Smile, joke, keep the facade. Marcus leaned back. Sounds like you've thought this through. But don't forget, you're not alone. I'll help you document, strategize. You focus on timing. I felt a small spark of relief. Thanks, Marcus. I don't know what I'd do without you. Stop thanking me, he said with a grin. Just remember, this is a game of patience. Every move counts. One mistake, and they'll know you're onto them. I nodded, staring at my hands on the table. I can't fail. Not after everything. Not after the betrayal. I have to win, or at least, I have to show them what it feels like to be betrayed. Marcus's eyes were steady. And you will. Just keep your focus. Watch, record, observe. Then act when the moment is perfect. Don't rush it. I took a deep breath, letting the plan sink in. I'll start tonight. Gather evidence, note patterns. Keep my cool in front of Clara. Make her think I don't suspect a thing. And Logan, I shook my head. He won't see it coming either. You're angry but controlled, Marcus said approvingly. That's exactly how it should be. I hate that I have to play this, I said softly, staring at my coffee cup. I hate feeling like I'm already 2 steps into a lie. Pretending to forgive Clara, pretending nothing happened, it feels wrong. Right now it's necessary, Marcus said firmly. For your sake, for your closure. One day, you'll look back and see that it was about control, not vengeance. And you'll be stronger for it. I nodded slowly. Stronger. I like that. Stronger than they think, stronger than they can imagine. Marcus smiled. Exactly. You'll take back what's yours, and you'll do it cleanly. Let's start with the basics tonight. Observe, record, nothing more. I stood, feeling the cold clarity settle over me like armor. Tonight, I take the first step. Carefully, quietly, but I will take it. I'll gather the truth. And when the time comes, you'll show them what it feels like, Marcus finished for me. I nodded, gripping the table edge. Yes, exactly that. We left the cafe together, the air crisp and biting. Every step I took felt like a countdown, a march toward justice I had longed for since the moment I discovered the betrayal. Clara would smile, laugh, and think she was safe. Logan would sneak around, confident he'd hidden his tracks. But tonight I would see. I would watch. And I would begin the process of taking back my life, one calculated move at a time. I set the table myself, arranging every plate, every fork, every glass just as Clara used to do. The house smelled of roasted chicken and rosemary, the familiar scent now tainted with anticipation. Ethan, it looks wonderful, Mom said, smiling as she walked into the kitchen. Thanks, Mom, I replied lightly. I just wanted tonight to feel right. Dad nodded. Family dinner again, huh? Yes, I said. Family. That's what matters. Clara appeared, wearing a soft smile that didn't reach her eyes. I'll help with the napkins, she said, but I waved her off. No, it's fine. I've got it covered. My tone was casual, but inside I was focused, every detail part of the plan. Logan leaned against the doorway. Smells amazing. You two have been working hard. I shrugged. We're a team. My gaze lingered on him, noting the tension in his shoulders. He avoided eye contact immediately. Dinner began. Laughter, clinking glasses, and small talk filled the room, just like old times. But every laugh, every glance, every movement had a hidden meaning now. So, Ethan, how's work treating you? Dad asked. Busy, I said, picking up my fork. But productive. I've been learning a lot. Clara chimed in. I saw your latest project online. Impressive. I smiled faintly. Thanks. It's going well. But I've learned something else recently. People aren't always what they seem. Clara's fork froze midair. Logan's eyes darted to me briefly before returning to his plate. What do you mean? Mom asked. Oh, you know, I said, keeping my tone light, almost teasing. Some secrets, hidden messages, Little moments people think you won't notice. Clara's hand twitched. Logan's jaw tightened. I kept my gaze neutral, watching them unravel in tiny increments. So, I said casually, Clara, remember that napkin the other night? She swallowed hard. I don't. It's fine, I interrupted smoothly. I just remembered how easy it is for small things to slip. Little notes, texts, whispers. Logan's fork clattered against his plate. Ethan, what are you? I held up a hand. Relax. I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just saying, patterns are revealing. You can't hide everything, not from me. Clara's eyes filled with a faint panic. Ethan, I swear nothing. I smiled faintly, leaning back. I know. I've been patient. Observant. Watching. Gathering. What do you mean? Logan's voice was sharp, defensive now. Oh, I don't know, I said, picking up my glass of wine. Maybe I know that certain late-night meetings, secret messages, and whispered plans exist. Clara's face went pale. She opened her mouth, then closed it, searching for an excuse. I continued, calm and deliberate. Funny how people think small tricks can escape notice. But they always leave traces. Screenshots, notes, voice recordings, little breadcrumbs. Logan's hands trembled slightly on his fork. Ethan, this is ridiculous. You're imagining things. I laughed softly, the sound carrying more weight than I intended. Am I? Because I've seen enough to piece together a pretty clear picture. Mom frowned. Ethan, what picture? I turned to her, voice warm, deceptively casual. Oh, just understanding who people really are. Sometimes the ones closest to you are hiding things you'd never expect. Clara tried to interject. Ethan, let me finish, I said gently, though my eyes bore into hers. I'm not cruel. I just believe in truth. And truth is, I know what's been going on. Logan's chair scraped loudly. Ethan, please, this isn't necessary. I picked up my phone and swiped quickly, showing screenshots of messages, texts, and notes. Clara gasped. Logan's eyes went wide. Ethan, he stammered. I held my hand out, letting them see every detail. Messages from last week. Secret meetups. Everything. I even have recordings if anyone doubts me. Clara's lips trembled. Ethan, I can explain. You don't need to, I said softly, almost sadly. I wanted to see you unravel on your own. To watch the mask fall. Logan looked away, shame and fear mixing in his expression. I didn't think it would get this far. It did, I said. Because I notice. I remember. I pay attention. Clara's shoulders slumped. I'm sorry. Truly. I shook my head slowly. Sorry doesn't fix betrayal. Not this one. Not the lies, the whispered secrets, the planning behind my back. You both destroyed my trust. Mom gasped softly. Dad's hand rested on mine, unsure what to say. I let the room breathe in tension. You see, I continued, voice steady. Actions have consequences. Patterns reveal intentions. And intentions, they catch up. Clara's eyes filled with tears. Logan's hands were clenched tightly. Ethan, please, let's talk privately, he said quietly. No, I said. Tonight, everyone sees. Everyone understands the truth. You wanted this hidden, but now it's not. I laid down printed notes of evidence, placing them in front of Clara and Logan. Read them. Every word. Every message. Every plan you thought no one knew. They stared in silence, horror and disbelief etched on their faces. No words could undo what was revealed. The perfect mask of composure shattered. Clara's voice finally trembled. I never meant to hurt you this much. I looked at her, feeling the weight of betrayal still heavy in my chest. You did, and you did it together. My fiancé and my brother, the two people I trusted most. Logan's lips pressed into a thin line. I'm sorry, Ethan. Truly. I don't need apologies, I said softly. I needed truth. And now I have it. Mom's hand found mine. Ethan. I had no idea. Dad's eyes were wide, shock and sorrow mingling. I can't believe it. I leaned back in my chair, feeling the cold clarity settle over me. Believe it. It's real. And it's permanent. Trust once broken doesn't repair itself overnight. Clara's tears fell silently. Logan's gaze remained lowered. And I realized finally that the night of revelation had succeeded. Not in anger, not in revenge yet, but in truth. The storm had been unveiled. The masks had fallen. And nothing would ever be the same again. The morning after the dinner, I felt the weight of what I had done. Clara and Logan had spent the night in silent rooms, avoiding the family entirely. I didn't rush them. I let the tension sit like a storm hovering over the house. Clara came down first, her face pale, lips trembling. Ethan, can we talk? I looked at her calmly, my hands resting on the kitchen counter. We can talk. But understand, Clara, I don't need explanations anymore. She began, voice cracking. I never wanted to hurt you. I made mistakes, and I know I can't take them back. I shook my head. Mistakes? This wasn't a mistake. This was choice. Every text, every note, every secret plan, you chose this. Tears welled in her eyes. Ethan, please. I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted. You didn't know what you wanted? I echoed, incredulous. You had me. You had a family. And you risked all of it for what exactly? I don't know, she shouted, finally letting the frustration and guilt pour out. I'm sorry. I can't undo it. I can't fix it. But I'm sorry. I crossed my arms. Sorry doesn't bring back trust. It doesn't erase what you did. You've already lost that. Logan entered the kitchen next, trying to put on his usual cocky expression, but it faltered as soon as he saw my face. Ethan, I can explain. You can explain, Logan, I said, voice low and steady, but no one wants to hear it anymore. Not me, not anyone who knows what you did. Dad stepped forward. Logan, we trusted you. And now, he shook his head. We can't just pretend this didn't happen. Logan's face paled. Dad, come on. I didn't mean for. Didn't mean for what? Mom's voice was sharp. You think didn't mean fix his betrayal? Logan stammered, searching for words. I was it just. I thought. You thought. I interrupted, stepping closer. You thought betraying me would go unnoticed? That I'd never see it? That our family, our friends wouldn't see through your lies? Clara flinched. Ethan, please, he didn't. No, I said, shaking my head slowly. Don't defend him. You both made this bed. My phone buzzed with messages. I ignored them, focusing on the moment. But I noticed the faint buzz of whispers from neighbors peeking in from the window, the subtle looks from family friends visiting for brunch. News traveled fast, and karma was moving quietly but decisively. People are talking, Logan, I said calmly, almost coldly. Everyone knows what you did. Your reputation, your friends, your colleagues, they've already started questioning your integrity. He swallowed hard. Ethan, this isn't fair. I was young. I didn't think. Not fair. I echoed, voice rising slightly. Fair? Fair would have been honesty, loyalty, respect. You had all of that and threw it away. Clara's sobs filled the kitchen. I never wanted anyone to hurt like this. I never. You already did, I said gently, but with conviction. And the consequences aren't over. Karma isn't cruel. It's just patient. And it's working. Logan slumped into a chair. I don't know how to fix this. You can't fix it, I said softly, almost sadly. You can apologize endlessly, but trust once broken doesn't come back quickly. People see the truth now. Friends, colleagues, even family, they're stepping back. Your arrogance is gone, replaced by panic. Clara tried to reach for my hand. I pulled away. Don't. Not yet. You need to understand the weight of your choices before forgiveness is even possible. Marcus had called earlier, warning me that social fallout was inevitable. And it was. Calls from friends who refused to attend their events, colleagues who canceled meetings, even neighbors giving cold, questioning glances. I felt a subtle satisfaction, but it was tempered by lingering sadness. You know, Ethan, Mom said softly, it's hard seeing them like this. But you handled it wisely. Calmly. I did what I had to do, I said, voice measured. Not out of cruelty, but to reclaim my life. To set boundaries. To make sure no one ever thinks they can betray me and get away with it. Clara's voice broke through. Ethan, I understand. I really do. I nodded slowly. Understanding doesn't erase pain. But maybe someday, with time, you'll learn the value of loyalty and honesty. I hope so. Logan's eyes filled with tears, shame and fear mixed with regret. Ethan, I'm sorry. Truly. I'll change. I swear. I shook my head. Promises are meaningless without action, and actions are already judged. Your choices speak louder than any words now. The house felt heavy, weighted with silence and consequences. Even as the tension lingered, I felt a strange relief, a sense of control I hadn't known since the betrayal. I had orchestrated the revelation, and while the sting of heartbreak remained, I was taking the first steps toward reclaiming my life. I have to start healing, I said finally, looking out the window. I can't stay trapped in anger forever. Revenge, karma, it's part of it. But now, it's time to focus on me. On my dignity. On moving forward. Marcus's voice rang in my head. Control, patience, purpose. Yes, I whispered. Control, patience, purpose. I won't let anyone betray me again. Not like this. Not ever. Clara and Logan slumped into the living room, quiet now, the weight of social and personal consequences pressing down. Friends who had come by earlier had left quickly after learning the truth. Neighbors gave side glances, and even some family friends refused invitations. The fallout was real, immediate, and inevitable. I watched silently, a mixture of satisfaction and sadness coursing through me. Revenge wasn't about cruelty. It was about reclaiming life, dignity, and self-respect. They had learned their lessons, painfully and publicly. And I'll never let anyone take that from me again, I said softly, speaking to myself more than anyone. I picked up my coffee, sipped slowly, feeling the storm of betrayal subside just enough for clarity to set in. The road ahead would be long, but for the first time in days, I felt a sense of purpose. Clara's soft sniffle broke the silence. I glanced at her, not with anger now, but with the quiet weight of lessons learned. Logan's eyes avoided mine entirely, shame etched deep into his features. I let them sit in that silence, a silence filled with truth, consequence, and the echoes of betrayal. And for the first time since the note, I felt the cold, steady pulse of control returning to me. Karma had done its work. I would do mine now. Heal, rebuild, and never allow such betrayal to enter my life again. I sit on the porch as the sun dips low, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. The house is quiet now, save for the occasional creak of the floorboards and distant hum of traffic. Weeks have passed since the night of revelation, and yet the memories linger like shadows I can't quite shake. Marcus appears from the driveway, carrying 2 coffees. He hands one to me with a grin. Still brooding. I smile faintly. A little, but it's better than it was. The storm has passed, mostly. Mostly? He raises an eyebrow, taking a sip. You're still haunted? I shrug. Haunted isn't the right word. Let's say reflective. I've learned a lot, Marcus. About trust, about people, about myself. He sits beside me. You've always been smart, Ethan. But you've grown stronger, too. I've seen it. I nod slowly. Stronger, yes. Wiser, definitely. I used to think revenge was the endgame. That once I exposed them, I'd feel free. But freedom, it comes differently. Quietly. Slowly. You've always been methodical, Marcus says. That night, that dinner, it could have gone wrong so easily. But you kept control. That's growth. I take a deep breath, looking out over the garden. I realize now that closure isn't just about punishment. It's about reclaiming yourself, protecting your dignity, choosing who gets space in your life. Marcus nods. So, how are you with Clara and Logan now? I pause. Distant. Necessary distance. They're living with the consequences of their choices. I don't hate them, not entirely. I just respect myself enough not to let them back in as if nothing happened. That's fair, he says softly. Some people aren't meant to be part of your future. I sip my coffee, feeling the warmth spread through my hands. Exactly. And I've been reconnecting with my parents too. They've seen my resilience, how I've handled everything. I think they finally see me fully. Mom's voice floats from the doorway. Ethan, dinner's ready if you're hungry. I glance at Marcus and smirk. Family meals, but calmer now. Marcus chuckles. Much calmer. No betrayals on the menu this time. I shake my head, smiling faintly. No betrayals. Just lessons learned. Later, at the table, Dad comments. Ethan, we're proud of you. Seeing how you handled everything, it takes strength to face betrayal and remain yourself. I look at him, heart heavy but steady. Thanks, Dad. It wasn't easy. But I realized that letting anger rule me would have destroyed more than just them. It would have destroyed me. Clara and Logan aren't here. Their absence is a quiet reminder of consequences. No confrontation, no apologies left unspoken. They've faced the social and personal fallout already. It's strange, this piece tinged with sadness. I clear my plate and stand. Marcus, you coming outside for a moment? We step onto the porch, the evening air cool against our skin. You've changed, he says quietly. I can see it. The way you carry yourself, the calm. It's different from the stormy Ethan I knew a month ago. I exhale slowly. I had to change. I couldn't stay trapped in anger, replaying every betrayal in my head. I had to find a way forward. I had to reclaim control. You've done that, Marcus affirms. And the best part, you did it without losing yourself. That's the hardest part. I smile faintly. Revenge felt sweet for a moment, yes. Seeing them face reality, it was satisfying. But what really matters is the growth afterward. The clarity. The ability to decide what my life looks like now. Marcus nods. So what's next for Ethan Walker, master of calm and consequence? I chuckle softly, letting the weight of the past weeks settle. I focus on myself. On friendships, family, work, small joys. I rebuild where it matters. And I keep my eyes open. I won't let anyone betray me again. He smirks. Sounds like a plan. But no hiding in books and work alone, okay? I grin. No hiding. Just choosing wisely who gets my trust. The sun dips lower, the sky fading to deep purples and blues. I breathe in the evening air, feeling the tension of the past dissipate with each exhale. For the first time in weeks, I feel free. You okay? Marcus asks, noticing my quiet gaze toward the horizon. I nod. More than okay. Peaceful, even. The memories are bitter, yes, but I don't let them control me anymore. They remind me of lessons, of resilience. He pats my shoulder. Good. That's what matters. You faced the storm and came out intact. Stronger, wiser, and still you. I watched the shadows stretch across the garden, the world quiet, the house finally calm. I think I'm ready to live again. To trust cautiously, love carefully, and move forward without the weight of betrayal pressing on me. Marcus smiles. And you will. I've never doubted that for a second. I glance back at the empty chairs where Clara and Logan would have Saturday. Closure isn't about them anymore. It's about me. About what I carry forward, not what I leave behind. I've chosen myself over bitterness, integrity over revenge. Marcus nods, understanding. That's real closure, Ethan. That's power. I take a deep breath, closing my eyes for a moment. It's quiet, but it's enough. I feel it in my chest, the calm, the freedom. The storm is over, and I can breathe again. The night settles, stars blinking faintly above. I know I'll never forget the dinner that started it all, the night of betrayal and revelation. But the memory is no longer a chain. It's a reminder of my strength, my choices, my resilience. I am the master of my own destiny now. I whisper into the cool evening air, letting the words sink in. No one can take that from me. Marcus leans back beside me, silent but supportive. The world feels larger, calmer, and somehow more promising than it did a month ago. I'm ready, I say softly, more to myself than anyone else. Ready to move forward. To live freely, with dignity, with purpose. And to never allow betrayal to hold me captive again. We sit together in quiet contentment, the air filled with the peaceful rhythm of life resuming. I watch the horizon, heart steady, mind clear. The family dinner that turned into a night of revenge will always be a bitter memory, but one that brought me clarity, strength, and the knowledge that I can face anything ahead. The past is behind me. The future is mine. And for the first time, I feel truly free.